Hola amigos, ¿qué tal? Stuart here from Spain Speaks with another update about the current situation here in Spain. And before I begin, I want to thank people who have been participating in the comment section below the last few videos. In general, the comments have been responsible and a lot of people asking questions about what we can do and what we can't do here in Spain. And a lot of people also talking about the current situation that they're facing in their individual countries. So good to see that the majority of the comments are responsible and that people are taking this seriously. Now, the government has just announced here in Spain that there is going to be an extension to the original 15-day lockdown. That means that the extension is going to go on for another 15 days. So it will be a month in total. So it is a month that we will be in this current state. Now that's going to be difficult for a lot of people, but I think in general the majority are heeding the advice of the police and listening to what people are saying. Now there have been some people that haven't been respecting the lockdown laws, and I'll go over a couple of those cases in a minute, and I'll also go over some of the comments and questions that people have been asking at the end of the video. Now last night the Prime Minister of Spain appeared on television, spoke for about 45 minutes, and he said that the worst is yet to come. He also said that they are expecting some 600,000 new testing kits for the virus in the next couple of days, so that a lot of people that haven't been tested will be able to get that done. Hopefully the situation will come under control the more people that get tested, because remember that there are a lot of people around that are not showing symptoms, going to the shops and so forth, and maybe passing the problem on to others. He was also asking who was responsible for decisions that were taken in January, February and earlier in March. Remember that up until as recently as 2 weeks ago, everything was normal here in Spain. We had heard about the problem, but nobody was really taking it seriously. And he also said that as the Prime Minister, he will assume full responsibility and that Spanish people will be able to decide in the future on whether the government handled this problem seriously enough from the beginning or not. Remember that the lockdown came in place 8 days ago, and before the lockdown everything was relatively normal. So it has come on very, very quickly here in this country. Some sections of the media are criticizing the government. One in particular says here that there were 45 days of unpredictability and passivity that allowed the virus to take a grip on society and why things weren't done before. But as I said the other day, this is not really the time to be putting the boot into the government. We have time for that in the future. And at the moment, I think it's just better to ride this situation out. And of course, politicians can be held responsible in the future. But the most important thing to do at this particular time is just to listen to what people are telling us to do, particularly here in Spain. The Prime Minister also said that at this point in time, there's no need to shut down all non-essential activities. That is something that Italy has recently done, but in Spain we haven't got to that situation yet. So non-essential activities are allowed to continue, and that means that people are allowed to go to their jobs tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, until these non-essential activities get shut down. Now, I don't want to predict the future, but that could be coming in the next few days, but we never know. But at the moment, people are still allowed to go to jobs that are in non-essential activities. Now, a lot of people have been looking at Germany and asking the question as to why they have so few deaths. In fact, the Financial Times had an article recently asking this question, and a lot of people are asking the question here in Spain. Why is the crisis so bad here? Why are so many people falling victim and in Germany no? Now, there could be a number of reasons for this. I'll let you discuss them in the section below, but it is a bit of a strange situation when a country like Germany is not suffering as much as the countries in the south. And let's be honest, this is going to affect people differently according to where they are. If you're in the north of Europe, it's not going to be the same as if you're in the south. If you're in the north of Africa, it's not going to be the same if you are in sub-Saharan Africa, South America, etc. So we all have to deal with the situation according to where we are in the world at the moment. And here in Spain, the objective is to not collapse the health system, because once the system collapses, a lot of people are not going to be able to get the help that they need. Now, as I mentioned in the previous video, there are temporary hospitals up and running now. And some hotels have been turned into makeshift hospitals for people with minor cases, and I know that the army is also setting up temporary hospital beds in certain places as well. So that is positive, and hopefully a lot of people will be able to get treatment and not have to go to the hospital. So we need to leave the hospitals for the people most in need. Now, unfortunately, there have been a few cases of people not respecting the lockdown. I mentioned in the previous video also that people were trying to go to second homes because they're feeling a bit claustrophobic. Remember that Spanish cities here are very cramped, so people have been trying to escape. There have also been cases of people that are holding illegal parties. The police shut down a party the other day in the south of Madrid, arrested 4 people. The rest managed to get away, but they found alcohol, drugs, cigarettes still lit in ashtrays. People have been arrested for going running. There's one video here of a woman who was resisting arrest, saying that she had done nothing wrong. A number of neighbours were screaming at her, calling her a clown, telling her to respect the lockdown rules. So obviously some people think that this is not a problem for them. There have been cases reported of people buying dogs, because remember that if you have a dog, you are allowed to take it for a walk. There was a case of a man who was caught putting the rubbish in a bin 5 kilometres away from his home. That's because here in Spain, people don't have individual rubbish collection at home. We have to put them into communal bins in the street. And one man was arrested putting the rubbish in a bin 5 kilometres away. The police asked for his identification card, and they saw that his address was not in the vicinity. And of course, he was subsequently arrested and fined. Now, the Costa Blanca police have also stepped up restrictions. The Costa Blanca being the part of Spain there on the Mediterranean coast near Valencia, Alicante, etc. They are issuing fines of up to 60,000 euros for repeat offenders. And apparently on Friday, there were a lot of people that were stopped and warned and fined because they weren't adhering to the lockdown rules. So again, if you are in one of these coastal areas, be careful, don't go outside. Remember, we are allowed to go to the shops, we are allowed to go to the chemists. If we need to buy medicine, we are allowed to do that. There's no restrictions. If we need to buy food, we can go to the supermarkets. I understand for a lot of people, they're having trouble buying food online. A lot of the supermarkets, as I mentioned the other day, have suspended services. Obviously, they don't have the logistics to cope. And big companies like Amazon, the websites are also crashing because of the demand. And it is a little bit problematic, and I can understand that people are a little bit anxious about having to go outside. Now, on Friday, I did go to the supermarket. I was a little bit apprehensive. I was a little bit nervous. I didn't really want to go, but I couldn't get food any other way. So I went down to the local supermarket, and there was everything there. There was food on the shelves, there was fruit, there were vegetables, there was toilet paper, there was everything that I needed to buy. So there's no need for panic buying here in Spain. As I said, I was a little bit nervous just because I saw a lot of people wearing masks and I didn't have a mask. But the supermarket put gloves before I went in. There were gloves on display there, so you could put gloves on in order not to touch anything with your bare hands. And I was able to dispose of them after doing the shopping. There was also hand gel available there. So supermarkets are behaving responsibly in this regard. There were also distancing lines. You had to be at least 1.5 meters away from the person in front of you. So that was also a good measure there, and that's also similar in pharmacies as well. Pharmacies are also putting limits to how close people can be to one another. But as I said, it was a little bit nerve-wracking seeing so many people with masks, and I didn't have one. But if you are careful and you listen to what the experts are saying, don't touch your face, wash your hands with a hand gel afterwards, wash your hands as soon as you get home, and just be careful touching things. So there we go, and no doubt I'll have to go to the supermarket again this week. So I'll see if I can make some type of face mask, and I'll see what I do this week when I go and do the shopping. Now, a couple of the comments that I've had on the videos. One of the comments was, where is the European Union at the moment? Now, the European Union is allowing each country to handle the situation individually. The majority of European countries are on board. France and Spain, for example. Italy, as we know, are doing similar things. Maybe in the north of Europe it is a little bit different, I don't know. Somebody told me that in Finland they still are allowed to go for a run and the confinement is basically limited to elderly people. So different countries have different rules and regulations, but here in Spain we know that the lockdown is quite restrictive. The army's on the street and the police are very severe with the way they are treating people who are not respecting the new laws. So be careful. Somebody also said that they have noticed 70% of the people on the streets wearing masks in central Madrid. He said this is up from about 15 to 20% last week. The government has also said that they're going to make more masks available. I don't have one, as I mentioned before, but a lot of people do have masks. Where they got them from, I do not know. Maybe they bought them online. But it is a common fact here in Madrid that we are seeing a lot of people now wearing masks. So a lot of people trying to stop the spread. Another comment here about the situation of homeless people. What's happening to homeless people? Because obviously they are vulnerable at the moment. I know that the Madrid government has taken people off the streets and put them into temporary accommodation. They're using one of the big Congress centers here in Madrid to house homeless people at the moment and giving them food, medication and things that they need to get them through this difficult time. So homeless people are being looked after here in Spain. One lady asked me, how can I renew my prescription? The health center is closed and the pharmacy said they couldn't do it. She says that she believes there's a telephone, but she doesn't speak Spanish. Now, again, if there is anybody who can help people like this, there are a lot of people living in Spain that don't speak the language. A lot of people only speak English. A lot of people only speak German. So if there are people that need language help, please just put that in the comment section below and hopefully somebody will be able to reach out for you. If there is a way to get a prescription renewed over the telephone, obviously that is what you need to do. And if you can't go to the medical center, obviously because it's closed or they're not dealing with the general public at the moment, it could be a problem. So again, if anybody out there is willing to offer language help for people that don't speak Spanish, please get in contact with them in the section below. Now, another comment here from somebody who says that no one in their family drives and more than 2 people are not allowed to travel in a car at the same time. What can this person do? Well, obviously you're going to have to try to buy food online if that's possible, or ask your neighbor to do the shopping for you. There's no restrictions on how much food you can buy as long as it's reasonable. As I said the other day, obviously if you go to a supermarket and buy 20 packets of toilet paper, they're not going to allow you to do this. But 2 packets of toilet paper is okay. 1 for you, 1 for the neighbor. So that is a way that you can get through this problem as well. And there are people with limited mobility. And remember that Carrefour supermarkets are providing online services and online deliveries for priority cases, people that can't move freely, the elderly, people that are pregnant at the moment, etc., people with disabilities. Okay, so look for carrefour.es and you should be able to get your food delivered. Now, I just want to give a shout out to another YouTube channel, Spain Revealed, who yesterday put a video up about how to make a Spanish omelette. And he said that his business is suffering at the moment because it's tourism related. And obviously all tourism activities have been shut down. So try to support a channel like James's if you can, Spain Revealed. I'll leave a link in the section below. And apparently he's going to develop some type of web page where you can learn different Spanish recipes. And that's one thing that I will say, that Spanish recipes, especially some of the more traditional recipes, are very, very good recipes to make in times like this. They're normally cheap meals, they're slow cooked meals, and you can freeze whatever you don't eat and save it for another day. So that's all I've got to say today. Questions or comments, please leave them in the section below. I'll let you guys debate it out in the section below. Give the video a thumbs up if you liked it, and I'll see you in the next video about the situation here in Spain. Hasta luego and stay safe.